How you doing, guys? Back today. We can't forget about the small joints. We're going to work on the foot and the ankle, and the hand and the wrist. Now I'm going to give you both the active and static stretching for each of the joints. For the active, remember we're going to try to go 5 to 10 times for each complex, and then for the static stretching, 30 seconds for each stretch. It's really nice and easy. You don't need a lot of room. All you might need is a little cloth and then a wall. Good luck. Starting with our wrist flexor stretching. Now you can see I'm grabbing below the fingers. My fingers actually aren't bending back. We're focusing on the prime wrist flexors. And then now we can move on to the fingers. You can see my right hand's up on my fingers, bending the fingers backwards, focusing now on the prime finger flexors. Moving on to the opposite, our wrist extensor stretching. Same thing applies here. I'm holding below the fingers, not bending the fingers back, and then moving to the fingers. I kind of bring my other hand around kind of as a cup and use that to flex my fingers in to get that stretch. And now we're moving on to a funny little one for our thumb extensor stretching. Pretty easy here. You're just bringing your thumb inside of your fingers and then moving the wrist down towards the ground. Important to keep the arm straight here as well. Moving on to our forearm rotator stretch. You should feel this in the mid forearm about. Just grip the towel, keep the arm straight at the elbow, bring that towel around and twist. I failed to record the opposite of this stretch, but pretty easy. Same thing applies, just rotate the other way. And then here's a little stretch just with some weight bearing involved. I'm just pushing through my wrists right now just to get them used to load bearing. This is important for when we hit the bags, do push-ups and whatnot. So just a couple of them here. Here's our first complex. Very quick and easy, like I said before. Feel free to do one wrist and arm at a time, or you could do both like I do in the video, whatever works best. Everything here is pretty easy, pretty simple here. You follow right along with our wrist rolls, controlling our full range of motion into our forearm rotation, or supination and pronation it's called, and then into our finger yoga. This also works a little bit of your fine motor skills, but it's also good, like previously done in the videos, to warm up those finger muscles as well as the wrist muscles. Starting with a couple calf stretches here. The first one with the straight leg. We want to keep the ball of the feet on the wall, our heel dug into the ground, and lean forward. In this one, the knee is bent. Again, we're leaning forward, ball of feet on the wall, heel to the ground. Should feel a little bit different stretch. So also important for ankle mobility is stretching the muscles involved with the big toe. So I let that big toe kind of hit the wall by itself, letting the other toes kind of fall through, and then leaning into that stretch, just like the calf stretch. And then we can't forget about the other toes. Same thing here. Let the great toe fall through, lean in, feel that stretch. Now we're doing the opposite stretch. As you can see, the toes are flexed inward, flexing those toe extensors. Pretty simply, we're just kind of pushing into the toes, bringing that foot forward. And then I can move right into the foot flexor stretch where I'm putting some pressure through the top of my foot. Rather, note the position and the change in the knee. Now I cross midline with my right foot here to make my sole face the front wall. And I'm just pushing down into that side of the foot, feeling that stretch on the outside of my ankle. And then I move back into kind of a staggered stance. You can bring this back a little further, but I lean forward, kind of pushing the inside of my foot down, trying to make my sole face the opposite wall. You should feel this on the inside, kind of directly across from the last spot. Starting off with our heel toe, pretty simple here. On the toes, back to the heels. When we're on our heels, let's try to bring those toes up to the ceiling as well. Then move into our side to sides. Just like the stretch, we're on the outside of the foot, inside of the foot, outside, inside. And some of you might be familiar with our ankle rolls, bringing that knee up and then rolling that ankle in its full range of motion, trying to control the entire time. I fail to do the opposite here, so rotate the opposite way as well with both feet. Then we move on to our toe yoga. It's kind of funny here. It might be tough for some people, but it is important. So we're isolating the big toe. We're either keeping it up while the other toes stay down, or we're keeping it down while the other toes stay up, excuse me.